Hey guys, it's Craig here and welcome back to another easy home brewing brew session. As a matter of fact, I don't think it really gets much easier than this. So let's get to it here. I have a homebrew beer ingredient kit here from BIY Homebrew Supply, and this is a Honey Blonde Ale. A very simple recipe designed by the folks at BIYHomebrewSupply.com. Check them out and give them a whirl. Now, I can give you most of the ingredients that are in this beer, give you an idea of what we're doing, but the only thing I can't tell you is what's in the bag of grains, because I don't even know what's in here. It's a secret ingredient, okay? If you want to brew this beer exactly the way I'm about to do it, give these guys a call or give them a whirl, go to their website, order the Honey Blonde Ale, and brew it up just the way I'm about to show you how to do right now. Dead easy, okay? What have I got? I got a pot on the stove. I got the water heating up to about 165, 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Doesn't have to be exact, but just keep it somewhere in that ballpark. And let's look at the ingredients that we've got here to make this beer. All right, starting with some priming sugar. That's actually for bottling. If you're gonna bottle your beer, you're gonna need that later. So you wouldn't be putting that in just yet. Although I'm not bottling this beer, I'm gonna be putting it into a keg. So I'll add that ingredient now. I'll just throw it in there and mix it all up. We've got a can of Pilsen Light liquid malt extract there. We've got some cluster hops, about 1 ounce. Our secret bag of specialty grains. We've got about 1 kilogram of dry malt extract. You see our little US-05 yeast package there. We've got a little muslin bag there to put the grains in so we can steep them. And we've got a little bottle of honey, because it's a Honey Blonde Ale. There you go. Gotta love them bees. Okay, so what are we doing? Well, we've got our water up to about 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, and oh, I forgot one of the most important ingredients. Some homemade red wine ingested internally. Gorgeous. I'll be getting myself a beer a little bit later on. This is a good start to a brew day. What are we doing? Well, the first thing we're gonna do is get our little bag of grains here and grab something sharp. Just open these up real quick. This might be a short video because it's so easy. I can detect certain flavors in here, but I'm not gonna say it. Let's let these guys have their secrets. You guys wanna try this recipe out, you're more than welcome to order this kit from them and give it a try. Let's give this a whirl, and let's give these guys a plug too, because they're great people, okay? This is one of the most nerve-wracking parts of the whole procedure, I think, and that's getting the grains into that thing right there. Because I've been known to spill a few things here and there, boy. All right, so we'll tie that up and try to leave as much room as we can. See, that's it, right? We just pop that into the old pot of 160 degree water, and we're gonna let that steep for about 20 minutes. Well, I guess I'll go down and watch some YouTube. See you in a bit. All right, well, it's been about half an hour, maybe a little longer. Got a little carried away with some stuff downstairs, you know. Got some beer carbonated so that I can, in a little while, have myself a nice cold glass of beer. Anyway, this is all set. We don't need this anymore. Whoops, we don't need that anymore. So we'll set those aside. And what do we have? We've got wort. Can you guys see that? I don't think you can. Move the camera so you can see what we're doing. Ah, there you go. Look at that. Just from that little bag of magic specialty grains. Let's take that out. And we're gonna let that drain. And everybody always says, don't squeeze the bag. So I'm not gonna squeeze the bag. I'll wait for this to drain while I have a little sip of my homemade red wine. Man, I don't know how much better it could get than this, making your own beer in your kitchen for pennies a glass and drinking your homemade home brew while you're at it. Wow, Good stuff. Right. So that's pretty much drained out. We'll just put that over there, and we can give that to the dog or any other small animals you might have around. Now, let's get this thing up to a boil. And in the meantime, I have my can of liquid malt extract and my little container of honey in another pot on the stove, just heating them up so they're easier to pour. Once this comes to a boil, we're gonna add everything else except the yeast, really, and then boil it for an hour. And well, as I said at the beginning of the video, it really doesn't get much easier than that. And stay tuned as well for the tasting of this beer. Once it's ready, in a couple weeks from the shooting of this video, we'll have a tasting to see how it goes. Let's let this get to a boil, and we'll see what happens in the next stage. Okay, this is almost to a boil. Almost to a boil. I'm just gonna turn it off because I have to add stuff. Okay, so we're gonna lose the boil anyway. So since we're almost there, turn off the heat. I just used that to tell how close it was to boiling there. And add all of our stuff. What do we've got? Okay, first we've got our dry. I always add the dry malt extract first because it dissolves easier. So we'll get that in there. And always make sure you turn off the heat before you add extracts to your beer, so you don't burn it to the bottom of the pot, you know. There's one. That's about 500 grams of dry malt. Very sticky stuff. And package number 2. Dry malt extract. Wonderful stuff. And steam is your worst enemy at this point, as you can see. Now you see what I did there? I made a mistake and added it while there was still steam coming. So now I've got to deal with that. It's like, this stuff is like cotton candy. It's just really, really messy stuff to work with. And now you can see how it's stuck to the inside of the bag because I let the steam get up in there. I'll try to scrape as much of that out as I can, but we'll just leave that for now. We have our liquid malt extract right over here in a pot full of hot water or warm water so that it's easier to pour. Let's get that going. All right. Well, the stuff tastes so good. Somebody suggested to me once to use it for barbecue sauce. That goes in, okay? Nice and easy while it's warmed up like that. And I will rinse that out in a few minutes as well. So now all we have left is our honey, because it's a honey blonde ale. See if we can get this open now. There we go. In the honey goes. Beautiful. Give that all a nice big stir. I'll give all these containers a little rinse to get all the goodness out of them. And our mission now is to bring this to an actual boil. Every time I do a brewing video like this, I usually include this part because it's so crucial. This is what's called the hot break. It's just getting to a boil, and this is gonna foam up like crazy, and you need to be here to control it. See it starting to rise? See that? And you gotta be here. If you're not here to control this, you're gonna have a hell of a mess. Turn it off, and I'll just lift it off the burner real quick. And saved. So yeah, we got to get it past this point. It only takes a couple of minutes. There we go. Hot break finished. Now we have a nice rolling boil. Guess what it's time for? Hops. Our hop addition, and we only have one hop addition in this particular beer. A little bit of a fact for you. The original, beer recipes back 10,000 years ago, they didn't use hops. Hops is only added to beer to preserve it during transportation from one country or one region to another so that it wouldn't spoil. Hops is actually a type of natural preservative. And by adding hops to the beer, they were able to transport it to other countries or other regions and not have it get sour and spoil. But the flavor of hops has actually stuck, and people love this taste of hops. Now beer generally isn't, a beer without hops. So let's get our hops. We have 1 ounce of cluster hops ready to go. Bam. Boom. Bam. Whatever explosion sound you want to make. This is going to boil for 1 hour. And you can get it to a nice rolling boil and just walk away. Check it once in a while, make sure it's not spewing all over the kitchen. But now the hot break is finished. You're pretty safe to just get it to a nice rolling boil and let her go. 1 hour, okay? So I'm gonna go down, sanitize a fermenter, get things ready for that, set up another camera, and we'll be back. Cheers. Oh, forgot. Got myself a nice cold home brew, by the way. Rule number 2, you make home brew and you drink home brew at the same time. Loving it. Cheers. Ooh. Well, it's been about 45 minutes or maybe a little longer since I started the boil and added my hops. So at this point, what I'm interested in doing in about 10 minutes is getting this cooled down as quickly as I can. There's several ways of doing that. You can put it in a sink full of ice water, or something like that. I have a wort chiller here I use all the time. Love this wort chiller. This is an absolutely amazing wort chiller. What I'm going to do is submerge it in there so that it sanitizes it for the last 10 minutes of the boil. This is called the Mantis wort chiller, and jadedbrewing.com, and I've been using this wort chiller for almost a year now, and I swear by it. I'm sorry, I swear by this thing for stovetop brewing. Money well spent. Makes life easier, and you'll use it over and over and over again. The design of this thing, I can't say enough about it, guys. I really can. I know I've said this before. I repeat myself sometimes when I'm passionate about something, but this is really, I'll just lift it. I can't touch it now because it's hot. I'll just grab a towel quick. Just quickly show you the construction of this thing. It is double layer, right? 2 wort chillers in one. There you go. Whatever way you want to say it. I don't know. I'm just making this stuff up, but it really does a great job for stovetop brewing. Get that towel out of there. Ugh. It's a clean towel anyway, so not to worry. And that. So, and it just really money well spent. Seriously, sits nicely. I got a little bit of a reach from my sink to my pot. There we go. And it just sits there. It's not doing anything yet. It's not doing anything yet. It's just getting sanitized. That's all. We got another, let's see, another 10 minutes to go in the boil before we flame out. That's the home brewer's term for turn off the heat and get this chilled down so we can take it downstairs and put it in the fermenter. Add cold water, finish it off with some yeast. Flame out, turn off the heat. I think that comes from probably a chef's environment. When they flame out, they turn off the heat. Anyway, my wife just got home from work and she came in the house and, oh, I hate that smell. I think that's the consensus with most wives whose husbands home brew, is that they don't like the smell of boiling like that. I tried to turn on the fan for as long as possible. Anyway, we've got a 1 hour boil here, and now it's time to cool this thing down. Cold water, self-regulating wort chiller. Just crank on the cold water. You can hear it. It's getting colder here already. So this is probably going to take about 5-7 minutes maybe, and we'll see you downstairs. Okay, excuse my back. One of the main concerns people have is there's not enough oxygen in this wort because it's been boiling. But it's only half of the beer. So I'm going to be adding, water to this, and that water has oxygen. So I'm not too worried about that. If you're doing all grain, you kind of have to worry about oxygenating this, your wort before you put your yeast in, because all the oxygen was boiled off in the boil. In this case, it's not as crucial. So let's get this into the fermenter. Pour it from a high distance so that we can introduce some oxygen. Just put that down there for now. And let's get this up to where it's going to be fermenting. There, as a matter of fact. And sanitized. Everything is sanitized, as you probably already know. Hoses, buckets, spoons, fermenters, airlocks, everything. All right, from this point on. And here we go, cold water. Let's grab a sanitized spoon. Give that a little stir. I've got to go upstairs and get the yeast. 70 degrees. Perfect. This time, I'm going to follow the instructions. I'm not going to rehydrate the yeast because I forgot and it's too late. So I'm just going to sprinkle it on the way the instructions say. Gave it a nice stir, got a nice little whirlpool going there. Sanitized the yeast packet. And let's just sprinkle this on. I don't stir my yeast in. I leave it on top, let it do its own thing. I got my lid over here. Sanitized, all ready to go. Get that on there. Keeps the air out, but lets the gas escape during fermentation. Done. Where's my beer? Well, I was right in the beginning when I said this is probably one of the easiest stovetop brew sessions I've ever done. Yet the folks at BIY Homebrew Supply say it's one of their most popular beer kits. So, give it a whirl. I'll put the link down below for you guys if you want to get this kit. And in no time at all, probably a couple weeks, we're going to be tasting this beer. Brewing beer is exciting, easy. It works. It just works. You see? Homebrew I did last week in a glass, carbonated, ready to go. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Check the comments down below for additional information. And I'm out. I'm going to go and relax for a little while. Cheers, guys. 17.